What's up, everyone, and welcome back to HateWatchers. Today we're swabbing the poop deck with episode 7 of Skeleton Crew, entitled We're Gonna Be in So Much Trouble. Let's sail right into the breakdown. Spoilers ahead. We kick things off back on @Atten, where Cyclops' lesbian moms and the other parents have all slacked on their group project, and the communication beacon they've built is a real piece of junk. But they get caught by the planet's guard droids. They stun the elephant mom the second she turns around and shows them her other trunk. And then the droids commit a few hate crimes, taking out the lesbians and the black guy. And once again, white women come out on top of the Diversity Olympics. The white woman comes down with a case of the Force and launches their beacon into space. Meanwhile, in hyperspace, the kids are playing soccer on their way home, and cheating-ass Ferngully won't stop doing handballs. Wim, who's been sitting out after getting a red card 2 hours ago, is also sad they're going home, now that he's just taken his first steps into his Michael Jackson era. Everyone tries to make him feel better, but Ferngully puts in the most effort, doing God knows what from this awkward position. When the pirates arrive at Atten, the vampire wolf proclaims the planet a toxic fart gas giant, and makes plans to send Nawood down first to sniff things out. But Smee pops in, still hungover, and lets them know that the planet is safe, so the pirates send down a scout. While this brave pioneer heads into the maelstrom, the rest of the pirates tune in to a pod racing podcast uninspiringly named the Podfast. When their scout meets his noxious doom, Brutus shoves Nawood into the airlock to check it out next, but he gets distracted by a shiny thing.
Squirrel!
That shiny thing is the kids and their ship, and the kids, seeing their planet from space for the first time, wonder if all their farts back home caused this climate change. But while they're busy pondering this, the pirates' tractor beam sucks them in. All the pirates gather up to lure the children into their space van, but when the vampire wolf goes to investigate, he gets chosen by the Claw. Not one to let an opportunity go to waste, Nawood frees and arms himself, and after Brutus gets in one last comment about his hairline, Nawood blasts him. He then threatens to squish Brutus's body with his claw if the other pirates don't fall in line, and they all think that's really gross, so they comply. Nawood then tells Space Urkel to go clean the toilets, and everyone else gets to party. The kids are in timeout on board the ship when they receive a recorded message from their parents, telling them that they're in so much fucking trouble that when they get home, their butts are going to be redder than Darth Vader's lightsaber. As these messages play, the pirates stand around and mock them using funny voices, and Nawood gets up close and personal with Neil's mother's trunk. While the kids formulate a strategy, Wim goes Leroy Jenkins mode, a plan that falls 5 feet short of still failing miserably. After being informed that this vessel currently has no captain, Wim's lifelong stutter that started 4 seconds ago prevents him from claiming the Onyx Cinder, and Nawood claims the ship. Ferngully tries to call official shenanigans and orders Smee to take back the ship. Nawood says, what's he going to do? Punch me? As he gets punched. Smee gets to work and they toss the pirates off the ship like trash and take off out of the hangar, further propelled by all the little shots the pirates are pew-pewing at them. In the maelstrom, the barrier destroys the pursuing pirates' ships, and then the skeleton crew impatiently creep forward and finally get the green light to move on through the barrier. The kids fly their Russian nesting doll ship toward this Russian nesting doll planet situation, but they discover they have a stowaway. Smee tries to put up a fight, but Nawood pulls out a lightsaber and decapitates him in front of the young children. They're all ready to confront Nawood, but then they hear the call to prayer as they pass over Dearborn at Atten and get on the ground. When Nawood can't get the TV working to watch the game, he takes out his frustration on the kids, telling Wim he doesn't have the rhythm necessary for a Michael Jackson era, which makes Wim cry, and then Nawood shows off his lightsaber skills in silence for several minutes. Down on the planet, the parents are glad they chose robotics over an expanded H-1B visa program because these droids are just so helpful, but their meeting gets interrupted by the arrival of a ship. The ship lands in another loading zone and immediately gets booted, and as Nawood disembarks, the droids say, let's proceed directly to the cash money vault. Would you like a massage and a hand job while we're here too? They reach the vault and Nawood is smitten, immediately thinking of all the Scrooge McDuck things he can do with these credits, and the kids have to look on as he removes his clothes to start swimming in it all. Their parents come find them, and they all have a much-needed hug session, except Wim's dad, who hesitates, unsure of how much he likes Wim. Nawood shows them all his lightsaber, and even the lesbians gasp at its impressive length, and the episode comes to an end. Well, this was another very, very short episode. But to be fair, it was a pretty packed episode. There wasn't much in the way of wasted scenes or time. It was interesting, pretty fun, and kinda too easy for our heroes to get out of some of these jams. I don't expect anything more complex, but still, I thought it would take more than a few words to take back their ship, and more than just having a ship with plot armor to navigate the barrier. While we're on the subject, this was a legit barrier. I thought after the first episode it was just an illusion meant to deter entry, but this is an actual maelstrom with protective devices. So that makes me want to rewatch the first episode because now I'm questioning how these kids got through the barrier so easily on the way out. Okay, I watched it again and they just kind of fly right through it in the first episode, seemingly protected by the ship being flagged for entry and exit. I'm not sure how that jives with the hull detonation from last episode, which I thought was necessary for getting through the barrier, but whatever. Switching gears, I do have to commend this show for seemingly not taking the easy, predictable approach of having Nawood betray the kids but eventually redeem himself by saving them. I, and I have to believe most others, assumed that Nawood would redeem himself before the end. But barring some jarring, extremely ham-fisted turnaround in the finale, it appears that they're committing to making Nawood a black-hearted scoundrel. So I actually appreciate Skeleton Crew not taking the easy route, something that no one would fault a show aimed at kids for doing. And once again, most everything in this episode looked really good. Skeleton Crew continues to be an ongoing indictment of how utterly wasteful shows like The Acolyte were with their budget. Okay, prediction time. If I had to pick something realistic, I think the supervisor comes in and it's a droid, something that's been hinted at in a few different ways. And the pirates find a way down to the planet, that turret we saw on the other identical planet gets activated, and the kids, led by Ferngully's tremendous captaincy and Wim's sudden discovery that he has the Force, defeat Nawood and take him captive. And for an off-the-wall prediction, the supervisor ends up being a Jedi who takes on Nawood instead. None of that answers the questions surrounding Tak Renaud, the pirate whose identity was conveniently obscured a couple episodes back, so I don't know where that's heading, assuming it gets answered at all. But yeah, I wouldn't put any money behind these predictions. It seems like they can go a number of different ways to wrap this up. I'm at least still interested in the story though, which is more than I can say for the last few Star Wars shows. There's just one episode left, so check back into HateWatchers next week as we wrap up our Skeleton Crew coverage. Have the mysteries Skeleton Crew's been putting forth been grabbing your interest at all? Are you also perplexed at how this show with less than a third of the Acolyte's budget can make that show look like dog shit? Let us know in the comments below. Also, leave a like on the video if you liked it, and subscribe to HateWatchers to stay up to date on Skeleton Crew. Thank you for making references to The Claw, Michael Jackson, and Scrooge McDuck work with us today, and we'll catch you on the next one.